This is Auntie Jax, welcoming you to the real estate industry. This video is in particular for the buyer. We now have a final bond grant. What happens next? There will be two sets of attorneys. One is the bond attorney who will be appointed by the bank, and the other is the transferring attorney who is appointed by the seller. But let's take a closer look, shall we? Estimated bond costs on a 1.5 million property is $45,000. This includes the attorney's fee as well as various other standard costs to legally register the bond, like the deeds office search, FICA compliance fee, conveyancing certificate and bank valuation fee. Estimated transfer costs on 1.5 million is 52,000 Rand. This cost includes the attorney's fee and various other standard costs to legally transfer the property from one owner to the next. Make sure that you bring all the relevant documents to the attorneys to avoid delays, including IDs, proof of residence, divorce decrees, and/or marriage certificates. This is the time that you receive your invoice, and relevant payments of deposits and costs need to be made unless you qualify as a first-time buyer. Should the relevant deposits, transfer, or bond costs not be paid over to the relevant attorney, it is at this point that it can be construed as a breach of contract and the defaulting party will be placed on terms. The seller will be compelled to produce the certificates of compliance to the transferring attorney. Similarly, if the seller does not produce the relevant certificates, they too can be held in breach of contract, in which case the seller would also then be placed on terms. The transferring attorney will proceed to obtain the following from the relevant authorities: rates clearance certificate and transfer duty receipt. Should payment of the relevant fees not be paid to counsel for the clearance certificate, this too can be seen as a breach of contract and the defaulting party will be placed on terms. Once the transfer duty receipt and rates clearance certificate have been received by the transferring attorney, they are now in a position to lodge. The bond attorney will then give the go-ahead for the proceed to lodge in the deeds office. And now we need to wait 7 to 10 working days. Once this time is up, the transferring attorney will then be advised that the transfer is on preparing to register. And now the property is finally yours. The celebrations can begin. But what does Auntie Jax say about all of this? You, as a new owner, are entitled to receive the keys on the same day that it registers. As the transferring attorney is appointed by the seller, the transferring attorney legally acts on behalf of the seller. However, it is their duty to ensure a smooth process for both parties. You may request a discount on the attorney's fees charged, but the attorney is not obliged to do this. The bond attorney will give the transferring attorney the instruction to proceed to lodge once all the documentation is in place. It is definitely advisable to be in constant communication with the transferring attorney at all times. If the property registers after the 15th of the month, your first bond installment will take place on the first day of the following month, which means you have a month to plan your finances. If not, it will be debited on the first day of the next month. What would you like to know about real estate? You may ask Auntie Jax anything.